Welcome to Historical Legacies. Here, we dive into history's most intriguing stories, unraveling mysteries, and uncovering truths from the past. Subscribe to join our journey through time's greatest moments. In the annals of history, few figures intrigue as much as Nostradamus, the enigmatic French seer. His cryptic prophecies have sparked debate for centuries, fueling interpretations and speculation about their uncanny accuracy. This documentary explores his life, his quatrains, and the enduring legacy of his predictions in shaping perceptions of the future. Part 1. The Early Life of Nostradamus. Michel de Nostradamus, known to the world as Nostradamus, was born on December 14, 1503, in the quaint town of Saint-Rémy-de-Provence in southern France. His early years unfolded against the vibrant backdrop of the Renaissance, a period of immense cultural and intellectual awakening across Europe. Nostradamus was born into a family of Jewish heritage, though his family converted to Christianity a generation prior under the rising pressures of anti-Semitic policies in France. This dual cultural identity played a profound role in shaping the man he would become, exposing him to both Jewish mysticism and Christian theology. From a young age, Nostradamus displayed a remarkable intellect and curiosity. His grandfather, who recognized his potential, provided him with an exceptional education at home. Nostradamus was taught Latin, Greek, and Hebrew, as well as mathematics and classical literature. These formative years laid a strong foundation for his later pursuits. It is said that his grandfather also introduced him to astronomy and the natural sciences, sparking his lifelong fascination with the stars. Nostradamus' upbringing fostered an ability to bridge the gap between empirical knowledge and spiritual beliefs, a hallmark of his later works. At the age of 14, Nostradamus left home to study at the University of Avignon. There, he immersed himself in the study of liberal arts, excelling particularly in rhetoric and philosophy. However, his academic journey was abruptly interrupted when an outbreak of the plague forced the university to close its doors. This marked the beginning of his exposure to the grim realities of disease, a theme that would follow him throughout his life. Undeterred, he continued his studies independently, demonstrating resilience and a thirst for knowledge. Nostradamus later enrolled at the University of Montpellier, where he pursued a formal education in medicine. His time there was pivotal, as he trained to become a physician. Montpellier was a leading center for medical studies in Europe, and it was here that Nostradamus honed his skills in treating patients and understanding the human body. The university's emphasis on ancient medical texts further enriched his understanding of both scientific and holistic approaches to healing. While Nostradamus was a capable student, records suggest he had a questioning mind that often challenged traditional practices. It was during these early years that Nostradamus began to cultivate his interest in the mystical and arcane. Although he adhered to the medical profession, he quietly explored subjects such as astrology and alchemy. These fields, though controversial, fascinated many intellectuals of the Renaissance who sought to reconcile science and spirituality. Nostradamus' unique ability to traverse these worlds without abandoning one for the other became a defining aspect of his work. His exposure to a variety of disciplines not only diversified his knowledge, but also equipped him to perceive the world through an intricate lens of interconnectedness. By the time Nostradamus completed his education, he was no longer just a scholar or a physician. He was an individual shaped by adversity, intellectual rigor, and an insatiable curiosity about the universe. These early experiences set the stage for his transformation into one of history's most enigmatic figures. Nostradamus' ability to synthesize the empirical with the mystical would later underpin his prophetic works, leaving an indelible mark on the world. Part 2. Nostradamus and Medicine. Nostradamus' journey as a healer began during one of Europe's most harrowing periods, the frequent and devastating outbreaks of a plague. After completing his medical studies at the University of Montpellier, he embarked on a career dedicated to combating the relentless disease that ravaged communities. His reputation as a skilled and compassionate physician quickly grew, particularly for his unconventional yet effective treatments. At a time when many physicians adhered rigidly to traditional methods, Nostradamus demonstrated remarkable innovation in his approach to medicine. He traveled extensively across France and neighboring regions, bringing his expertise to plague-stricken towns. Nostradamus' understanding of the disease far exceeded that of many of his contemporaries. He emphasized hygiene and sanitation, practices largely ignored during the 16th century. Recognizing the importance of cleanliness, he advised patients to avoid overcrowded areas and maintain personal hygiene, measures that significantly reduce the spread of infection. His recommendations, though rudimentary by modern standards, were revolutionary for the time and undoubtedly saved countless lives. Nostradamus also prepared herbal remedies to treat his patients. Drawing on his knowledge of botany and ancient texts, he created concoctions designed to alleviate symptoms and boost immunity. One of his notable remedies was a rose petal lozenge, made by combining crushed rose petals with sawdust and other natural ingredients. This preparation was believed to protect against airborne contaminants and became widely sought after in plague-stricken regions. While some dismissed his methods as unorthodox, others praised their effectiveness in providing relief where conventional treatments failed. Despite his successes, Nostradamus' work was not without its challenges. The plague was an unforgiving foe, claiming lives indiscriminately and spreading fear wherever it appeared. Many physicians of the era abandoned their posts in the face of such relentless mortality. Nostradamus, however, remained steadfast, often risking his own health to assist the afflicted. His bravery and dedication earned him respect and admiration, even from those skeptical of his methods. It was during these arduous years that Nostradamus' resilience and resourcefulness became defining traits of his character. The tragedies he witnessed left a profound impact on his outlook. Losing patients to the plague, no matter how skilled his interventions, reinforced the fragility of human life. These experiences deepened his philosophical reflections and drew him closer to the metaphysical realm. Nostradamus began to see connections between the physical and spiritual worlds, a perspective that would later influence his prophetic writings. To him, the patterns of disease and recovery mirrored broader cycles of human existence, with each event tied to larger cosmic order. As Nostradamus' reputation grew, so too did his network of patrons. He became a trusted advisor to nobles and local leaders who sought his guidance in managing outbreaks. His contributions to medicine extended beyond immediate treatments. He also compiled and shared his findings to benefit future practitioners. These writings, though primarily medical, often hinted at his burgeoning interest in astrology and the alignment of celestial events. His ability to merge practical knowledge with philosophical insight set him apart from his peers. By the time Nostradamus transitioned from medicine to his prophetic endeavors, he had already established himself as a figure of immense respect and intrigue. His work as a healer not only saved lives, but also served as a foundation for the worldview that would later define his quatrains. Through his tireless efforts, Nostradamus emerged as both a man of science and a seeker of deeper truths, forever bridging the gap between the known and the unknown. Part 3. Nostradamus turned to astrology. As Nostradamus' career evolved, his interests began to expand beyond the realm of medicine, drawing him toward the mysterious art of astrology. While he had always been fascinated by the movements of celestial bodies, it was during his middle years that astrology became a central focus of his life. This transition marked a pivotal moment in his journey, as he began to see the stars not only as a source of wonder, but also as a guide to understanding human destiny. Astrology in the 16th century was both respected and controversial. It occupied a unique place in Renaissance thought, blending elements of science, mathematics, and mysticism. Nostradamus approached the discipline with a meticulous and scholarly mindset. He studied ancient texts from Greek, Roman, and Arabic traditions, delving deeply into the works of Ptolemy and other renowned astronomers. By combining these classical influences with his own observations, Nostradamus developed a unique astrological framework that would underpin his later prophecies. What set Nostradamus apart from many of his contemporaries was his ability to connect astrology with broader societal events. He believed that the alignment of celestial bodies could influence human behavior and the unfolding of history. This perspective resonated with many, especially during a time of widespread uncertainty. Wars, religious conflicts, and the ever-present threat of plague had created a society eager for guidance and reassurance. Nostradamus' astrological insights offered a sense of order and predictability in an otherwise chaotic world. His turn to astrology was also deeply personal. Having witnessed the fragility of life during his years as a physician, Nostradamus sought answers to the larger questions of existence. He saw astrology as a way to explore the interconnectedness of a universe, where individual lives were part of a greater cosmic design. This philosophy became the foundation of his prophetic vision, blending empirical observation with spiritual interpretation. Nostradamus began offering astrological consultations to individuals and families. His predictions were often tailored to the specific concerns of his clients, whether they sought guidance on health, relationships, or financial matters. His accuracy and insight quickly gained attention, earning him both admirers and skeptics. For some, his work was a source of hope and clarity. For others, it was a challenge to established religious and scientific norms. It was during this period that Nostradamus started compiling his first collection of quatrains. These cryptic, four-line verses were designed to convey his visions of the future, influenced heavily by his astrological studies. The quatrains' ambiguous language allowed for multiple interpretations, ensuring their relevance across generations. Nostradamus believed that presenting his prophecies in this enigmatic form would protect him from persecution, as the precise meanings were open to speculation. Despite the risks, Nostradamus' fame as an astrologer grew. His ability to weave celestial observations into compelling narratives captured the imagination of his audience. Patrons from across Europe sought his counsel, including members of the nobility and clergy. His growing prominence also attracted criticism, with some accusing him of heresy or fraud. Yet, Nostradamus remained undeterred, convinced of the legitimacy and importance of his work. This chapter of his life marked the beginning of his transformation into a prophetic figure. By integrating astrology with his medical and philosophical knowledge, Nostradamus created a body of work that transcended traditional boundaries. His quatrains would soon become the cornerstone of his legacy, solidifying his place as one of history's most enigmatic visionaries. Part 4. The Writing of Prophecies. In 1555, Nostradamus published the first edition of his most famous work, Prophecies. This book, a collection of 353 quatrains, marked the culmination of years of study and reflection. Prophecies was not merely a product of Nostradamus' fascination with astrology. It was a complex synthesis of his knowledge in history, medicine, and classical texts, woven together with his unique insights into the human condition. The work reflected his belief in cycles of history and the influence of celestial movements on earthly events. Nostradamus intended his quatrains to be timeless. He carefully crafted each verse to obscure its meaning, employing symbolism, metaphors, and archaic language. This deliberate ambiguity ensured that his predictions could transcend specific eras, remaining open to interpretation for generations. Nostradamus also drew inspiration from biblical prophecies and apocalyptic imagery, blending these elements with his astrological observations. The result was a tapestry of predictions that resonated with both the learned and the superstitious. The first edition of Prophecies was modest in scope, containing only the initial 10 centuries, or groups of 100 quatrains. Despite its limited size, the book quickly gained popularity. It offered readers a sense of wonder and foreboding, inviting them to decipher its cryptic verses. The timing of its publication was significant. Europe was experiencing political turmoil, religious conflict, and natural disasters, all of which seemed to validate Nostradamus' predictions. People eagerly sought explanations for these events, and Prophecies provided a lens through which they could interpret their world. Nostradamus' work was both praised and criticized. His supporters viewed him as a visionary, capable of glimpsing the future through his unique combination of scholarship and intuition. They marveled at the breadth of his predictions, which ranged from specific events, such as wars and plagues, to broader trends in human history. His detractors, however, accused him of charlatanism. Some argued that his quatrains were so vague that they could be applied to almost any situation. Others feared that his work undermined religious doctrine, as it suggested a level of foresight reserved for divine revelation. Despite the controversy, Prophecies elevated Nostradamus to unprecedented fame. He became a household name across Europe, with readers from all walks of life attempting to unlock the secrets of his quatrains. The book's success also attracted the attention of powerful figures. Catherine de' Medici, the Queen of France, became one of his most prominent patrons. She believed that his prophecies held vital insights into the future of her dynasty. This royal endorsement further solidified Nostradamus' status as a respected, albeit enigmatic, figure. The writing of Prophecies was a deeply personal endeavor for Nostradamus. He saw himself not merely as a predictor of future events, but as a chronicler of the human experience. His quatrains captured uncertainty, hope, and fear that defined his era, offering a reflection of the collective consciousness. Through his writing, Nostradamus sought to connect the past, present, and future, illustrating the cyclical nature of existence. This perspective resonated with readers, who found both solace and intrigue in his work. Prophecies remains one of the most studied and debated texts in history. Its enduring appeal lies in its ability to adapt to the changing contexts of each new era. For Nostradamus, the book was not merely a collection of predictions. It was his legacy. It represented his belief in the power of knowledge and the interconnectedness of all things, a philosophy that continues to inspire and challenge audiences today. Part 7. A Prophet Under Fire. Nostradamus' rise to prominence did not come without significant opposition. As his quatrains gained popularity and his reputation as a prophet grew, so too did the number of critics and adversaries who questioned his motives and methods. Living in an era of intense religious and political turmoil, he found himself a target of both skepticism and hostility. One of the main sources of contention was the perceived ambiguity of his prophecies. Critics accused Nostradamus of crafting verses so vague and open-ended that they could be applied to almost any event. This criticism was amplified by those who believe he deliberately wrote his quatrains in cryptic language to obscure their true meaning. While Nostradamus defended his style as necessary to avoid persecution and misinterpretation, his detractors viewed it as a calculated effort to maintain his mystique. The broader context of the Renaissance played a significant role in shaping these criticisms. It was a period marked by the tension between emerging scientific thought and deeply rooted religious traditions. Nostradamus' work, which combined astrology, biblical references, and classical sources, often placed him at odds with both camps. Rationalists dismissed him as a charlatan, while religious authorities regarded him with suspicion, fearing that his prophecies encroached on divine prerogatives. One of the most significant challenges Nostradamus faced came from the Church. Though he identified as a devout Catholic, his writings occasionally included ideas and symbols that diverged from orthodox teachings. This led to accusations of heresy, a grave charge in a time when the Inquisition actively pursued those deemed threats to the faith. Nostradamus' association with esoteric practices, including astrology and alchemy, further fueled these suspicions. He walked a delicate line, relying on influential patrons like Catherine de' Medici to shield him from the worst consequences of these allegations. Public opinion was another battleground where Nostradamus had to defend his work. While many admired him for his foresight and intellect, others viewed him with distrust. The enigmatic nature of his predictions often caused anxiety among those who feared the worst interpretations. At times, Nostradamus became a scapegoat for societal unrest, with his prophecies blamed for stirring fear or inciting division. In response to these challenges, Nostradamus employed a strategy of cautious engagement. He rarely engaged directly with his critics, preferring instead to let his work speak for itself. His choice to write in a mix of Latin, Greek, and archaic French served both as a stylistic hallmark and a protective measure, limiting the accessibility of his quatrains to the most educated readers. This approach shielded him from direct accusations while preserving the allure of his work. Despite the criticism, Nostradamus found unwavering support among his followers and patrons. Catherine de' Medici's endorsement in particular lent him credibility and offered protection against detractors. For the common people, his prophecies resonated as a reflection of their anxieties and hopes, elevating him to the status of a cultural icon. Nostradamus himself seemed unfazed by the controversy, viewing it as an inevitable consequence of his chosen path. Through perseverance and strategic alliances, Nostradamus weathered the storms of criticism and maintained his place in history. His ability to navigate these challenges demonstrated his resilience and adaptability in a time of great uncertainty. While many sought to undermine his legacy, Nostradamus' enduring influence suggests that his vision transcended the limitations of his era. Part 6. Predictions and Peril. As Nostradamus' fame grew, so too did the scrutiny and challenges he faced. His prophecies, while celebrated by many, were also a source of fear and controversy. The enigmatic nature of his quatrains, often interpreted as predictions of calamities and upheavals, sparked both fascination and alarm. In a time rife with political and religious tension, Nostradamus' work walked a fine line between reverence and suspicion. Among his most discussed predictions were those foretelling wars, plagues, and the downfall of powerful leaders. Many saw these prophecies as uncannily accurate, further solidifying his reputation as a seer. However, the ambiguity of his verses also led to widespread speculation and reinterpretation, often bending the original meaning to suit contemporary events. This flexibility of interpretation made Nostradamus both timeless and controversial. His detractors accused him of exploiting fear for personal gain, while his supporters viewed him as a messenger of divine insight. The religious landscape of the 16th century added to the perils Nostradamus faced. Europe was deeply divided between Catholicism and Protestantism, and tensions frequently erupted into violence. Nostradamus, though a Catholic, held views that often transcended strict doctrinal boundaries. His inclusive approach to prophecy, drawing from classical, biblical, and astrological sources, made him a target for accusations of heresy. The Inquisition, ever vigilant against perceived threats to orthodoxy, kept a wary eye on his activities. One notable instance of peril arose from his predictions about the French monarchy. Nostradamus' quatrains often reference kings and queens, leading to intense scrutiny from those in power. While Catherine de' Medici protected him at court, others viewed his prophecies as politically dangerous. His prediction of King Henry II's death, though eerily accurate, also fueled suspicions that he wielded knowledge too potent for mortal understanding. To some, he was a prophet. To others, a sorcerer meddling in forbidden arts. Nostradamus himself was aware of the risks associated with his work. He took deliberate steps to obscure the meanings of his quatrains, using cryptic language and symbolic imagery. This strategy not only enhanced the mystique of his prophecies, but also served as a safeguard against accusations of treason or blasphemy. Yet, this very ambiguity sometimes worked against him, as critics accused him of being deliberately vague to avoid accountability. Despite these challenges, Nostradamus continued to write and publish. His resilience was driven by a sense of purpose and a belief in the value of his work. He saw his prophecies not as definitive predictions, but as warnings meant to prepare humanity for potential futures. This perspective aligned with the Renaissance emphasis on human agency and the pursuit of knowledge. Nostradamus encouraged readers to reflect on their actions and the broader patterns of history, suggesting that understanding the past could illuminate the path forward. The peril Nostradamus faced extended beyond accusations and criticism. The very nature of his work, dealing with the unknown and the mystical, isolated him from many of his contemporaries. He lived in an era where science and superstition were deeply intertwined, and his efforts to bridge these realms often left him misunderstood. Yet he persevered, driven by a conviction that his insights could contribute to the greater good. Nostradamus' ability to navigate the perils of his time was a testament to his intellect and adaptability. He balanced his public persona as a prophet with a private life dedicated to study and reflection. His resilience in the face of adversity ensured that his legacy would endure. For those who sought his guidance, Nostradamus offered not only predictions, but also a lens through which to view the complexities of their world. Part 8. Nostradamus and the Plague. Few aspects of Nostradamus' life exemplify his versatility and compassion as much as his work during the devastating outbreaks of plague. The mid-16th century was a time when the plague ravaged Europe, claiming countless lives and leaving communities in turmoil. Nostradamus, drawing on his background as a physician, played a vital role in combating this relentless disease. His efforts not only saved lives, but also demonstrated his commitment to serving humanity in its darkest hours. The plague's impact was widespread and terrifying. Entire towns were decimated, and fear of contagion often led to social and economic collapse. Medical knowledge at the time was limited, and traditional treatments were largely ineffective. Nostradamus, however, approached the epidemic with a blend of scientific inquiry and practical solutions. His methods, though unconventional for his time, were rooted in observation, hygiene, and common sense. One of Nostradamus' key contributions was his emphasis on sanitation. He advised measures such as removing infected corpses from public areas, improving ventilation, and maintaining personal cleanliness. These practices, though basic by modern standards, were revolutionary in an era when the concept of germs was unknown. Nostradamus also recommended dietary changes, including the consumption of clean water and certain herbal remedies to strengthen the immune system. His approach was pragmatic and focused on prevention, contrasting sharply with the superstitious or punitive measures often employed by others. In addition to his preventive strategies, Nostradamus was deeply involved in the care of the sick. He traveled to plague-stricken regions, risking his own life to treat patients. His compassion and willingness to confront the disease directly earned him widespread respect. Nostradamus created his own herbal lozenges, which he believed helped protect against infection. These lozenges, made from rose petals, clove, and other ingredients, became a hallmark of his medical practice and were sought after by many. Nostradamus' work during the plague also had a profound impact on his philosophical outlook. Witnessing the fragility of life and the suffering caused by disease deepened his belief in the interconnectedness of all things. This perspective influenced his later prophecies, many of which reflected on the cyclical nature of human existence and the inevitability of challenges. His experiences as a healer reinforced his conviction that knowledge and action could mitigate even the most dire circumstances. Despite his contributions, Nostradamus faced criticism and skepticism from some quarters. His unorthodox methods and reliance on herbal medicine clashed with the prevailing medical theories of the time. Additionally, his involvement in combating the plague exposed him to considerable personal risk, both from the disease itself and from those who mistrusted his motives. Nevertheless, he remained steadfast in his efforts, driven by a sense of duty and compassion. Nostradamus' work during the plague cemented his reputation not only as a prophet, but also as a healer. His actions exemplified a rare combination of intellect, courage, and empathy. While his prophecies captured imagination of generations, his medical contributions highlighted a more tangible and immediate aspect of his legacy. For those who benefited from his care, Nostradamus was not just a visionary, but a practical savior in a time of despair. The lessons Nostradamus drew from the plague extended beyond medicine. They shaped his understanding of human resilience and the importance of preparedness. His writings reflected this perspective, urging readers to consider the broader patterns of history and the ways in which humanity could confront its challenges. Through his work as a healer, Nostradamus demonstrated that even in the face of overwhelming adversity, knowledge and compassion could pave the way to hope. Part 9. Legacy of Les Prophecies. In 1555, Nostradamus published Les Prophecies, the work that would define his legacy and establish his reputation as one of history's most enigmatic figures. This collection of quatrains, short rhyme verses, spanned centuries in scope, offering cryptic predictions about the fate of humanity. The publication marked a turning point in his career, elevating him from a respected scholar and physician to an enduring cultural icon. Les Prophecies was a product of its time, reflecting the anxieties and aspirations of a Europe grappling with profound change. The Renaissance was an era of exploration, discovery, and upheaval, and Nostradamus' work captured the zeitgeist of a world on the brink of transformation. The quatrains, written in a mix of French, Latin, and Greek, covered a wide array of topics, including wars, natural disasters, and the rise and fall of leaders. Their cryptic nature invited endless interpretation, making them both timeless and adaptable to different eras. Nostradamus' decision to write in an intentionally obscure style was both a creative and protective choice. The use of metaphor, symbolism, and archaic language ensured that his predictions could evade censorship and persecution. This ambiguity, however, also left his work open to criticism. Skeptics accused him of being deliberately vague, while supporters argued that his style reflected the complexity and uncertainty of the future. The initial reception of Prophecies was mixed. Some readers hailed Nostradamus as a visionary, marveling at his ability to foresee events that seemed beyond human comprehension. Others dismissed him as a fraud or charlatan, questioning the validity of his methods and the authenticity of his insights. The publication's success, however, was undeniable. Prophecies quickly became a bestseller, spreading far beyond France and solidifying Nostradamus' place in the cultural imagination. Over time, specific quatrains gained notoriety for their perceived accuracy. One example was his alleged prediction of the Great Fire of London in 1666. A verse describing the blood of the just being burned afire was later interpreted as a reference to this catastrophic event. Similarly, his writings were linked to the French Revolution, the rise of Napoleon, and even the advent of World War II. Each interpretation, whether accurate or speculative, added to the mystique of Prophecies. Despite its popularity, Prophecies also attracted controversy. Religious authorities viewed the work with suspicion, wary of its implications and its potential to challenge established doctrines. Nostradamus' blending of astrology, classical references, and biblical themes further complicated its reception, as it defied easy categorization. For the Inquisition, the book's widespread influence was both a concern and a testament to its power. Nostradamus' intentions in writing Prophecies remain a subject of debate. Some scholars argue that he sought to warn humanity about recurring cycles of history, emphasizing the importance of preparation and reflection. Others suggest that his primary aim was to engage readers in a deeper exploration of fate and free will. Whatever his motives, the work resonated with audiences across generations, transcending its original context to become a timeless artifact of human curiosity and imagination. The enduring appeal of Prophecies lies in its universality. By addressing themes of change, conflict, and resilience, Nostradamus tapped into fundamental aspects of the human experience. His quatrains continue to inspire both awe and skepticism, serving as a mirror for the fears and hopes of every age. In Prophecies, Nostradamus offered not just predictions, but a profound reflection on the nature of time and the mysteries of existence. Part 10. The Myth of Nostradamus. Over the centuries, the figure of Nostradamus has become more myth than man, his life, and works shrouded in layers of speculation, legend, and mystery. The enduring appeal of his prophecies, coupled with their ambiguous nature, has allowed the myth of Nostradamus to grow far beyond the historical facts. What began as a scholarly pursuit has evolved into a global phenomenon, with Nostradamus often depicted as a mystic with supernatural foresight. One of the key aspects that has contributed to the mythology surrounding Nostradamus is the persistent belief that his prophecies predicted specific, major events in history. From the rise of Napoleon to the World Wars, and even the attacks on September 11, 2001, many people continue to search his quatrains for explanations or signs of preordained outcomes. This phenomenon has led to the notion that Nostradamus possessed an almost divine ability to foresee the future. While some of these connections are based on reinterpretations of his work, they add to the allure of his image as a prophet who could see beyond the veil of time. The flexibility with which his quatrains are interpreted is a driving force behind the myth. Nostradamus' work is famously vague, leaving ample room for the imagination of readers to fill in the gaps. The lack of precise detail and the cryptic nature of his verses means that almost any significant event in history can be retroactively linked to a prophecy. This selective prophecy has led many to claim that Nostradamus foresaw everything from the assassination of JFK to the rise of the Internet, despite the original texts containing no such direct references. The myth surrounding Nostradamus is further fueled by the aura of mystery that surrounds his personal life. His background as a doctor and astrologer, combined with his esoteric interests, made him an enigmatic figure in his time. He was well versed in the sciences, yet also embraced astrology, alchemy, and the occult, areas of knowledge that were often considered unorthodox or even dangerous. This duality, rational thinker and mystical prophet, has made him a figure who straddles the line between genius and mysticism, leading to further fascination with his life and work. Despite the mythologizing of Nostradamus, his actual legacy is a combination of scholarly achievement and cultural influence. His predictions, though often imprecise, reflect the concerns of his time, offering insight into the anxieties of a world facing political turmoil, religious conflict, and natural disasters. Nostradamus' predictions, if read with a modern lens, are often seen as a reflection of the human desire to make sense of an unpredictable and chaotic world. His appeal is rooted in this universal need for meaning, particularly in the face of the unknown. The myth of Nostradamus also taps into deeper themes of fate, destiny, and free will. Many who turn to his prophecies are seeking not just answers, but a sense of control over their own futures. Nostradamus' writings, in this sense, become a means of confronting the uncertainties of life, offering readers a glimpse into the possibility of an ordered, predictable universe, even if that glimpse is framed in mysticism and uncertainty. As a result, Nostradamus has become a symbol of the power of prophecy itself. His name has become synonymous with foresight, and his quatrains are often referenced whenever the world faces moments of crisis or uncertainty. The enduring nature of his myth suggests that, regardless of the accuracy of his predictions, Nostradamus has become a timeless figure whose influence transcends the boundaries of history. The myth of Nostradamus, then, is not just about a man who predicted the future, but about a symbol of humanity's eternal fascination with the unknown and the possibility of foreseeing what is to come. In contemporary culture, the myth continues to thrive. Nostradamus appears in films, books, documentaries, and even conspiracy theories, his name evoking a sense of mystery and wonder. The figure of Nostradamus has become a touchstone for discussions about prophecy, fate, and the limits of human understanding. This modern myth ensures that Nostradamus remains relevant even centuries after his death. His legacy, whether rooted in fact or fiction, continues to captivate and intrigue people around the world. Part 11. Nostradamus in Popular Culture. Over the centuries, Nostradamus has transitioned from a historical figure to a pervasive symbol in popular culture. His name and prophecies have been featured in countless books, films, television shows, and documentaries, cementing his status as a cultural icon. The appeal of Nostradamus in popular culture lies in his mysterious persona and enduring fascination with his predictions of the future. These portrayals, however, often blur the lines between fact and fiction, contributing to the ongoing mythology surrounding him. Nostradamus has often been depicted as a mystical sage with the ability to foresee world-altering events. His prophecies are frequently featured in apocalyptic and disaster-themed narratives, where his quatrains are interpreted as foretelling everything from natural disasters to global conflicts. Hollywood, in particular, has capitalized on this mystique, with films like Nostradamus, 1994, and The Man Who Saw Tomorrow, 1981, popularizing his image as a prophet of doom. These films, often sensationalized, contribute to the idea that Nostradamus predicted specific catastrophic events, playing into public fascination with apocalyptic scenarios. In addition to films, Nostradamus has made appearances in television shows, often serving as a central figure in narratives that involve prophecy, fate, and the supernatural. Popular shows like The X-Files and Supernatural have referenced Nostradamus, integrating him into stories about conspiracy theories, secret societies, and foreboding events. These portrayals further solidify his status as a symbol of mysterious foresight, even as they take liberties with his actual life and work. Beyond fiction, Nostradamus has also found a place in non-fiction works, particularly those focused on prophecy, the occult, and esoteric knowledge. Books that claim to decode or explain Nostradamus quatrains have been a staple of the publishing world for decades. These works often promise to reveal the true meaning of his predictions, with many authors attempting to link his writings to contemporary events. Popular titles like the Prophecies of Nostradamus, published in 1970s, and Nostradamus, the complete prophecies for the future, have fueled public interest, often presenting the prophet as a key to understanding world events. The connection between Nostradamus and conspiracy theories is another area where his influence is felt in modern popular culture. His name is frequently invoked by those seeking to explain or predict global crises, such as economic collapses, wars, or natural disasters. Many conspiracy theorists claim that Nostradamus foresaw key moments in history, pointing to his prophecies as evidence of a hidden order governing world events. This association has further cemented his place as a figure of intrigue, even as it raises questions about the interpretation of his work. In addition to his appearances in the media, Nostradamus has also influenced various alternative belief systems and movements. His blend of astrology, mysticism, and prophecy has resonated with those drawn to the occult, with some viewing him as a prophet whose work holds the key to unlocking hidden knowledge. Groups interested in New Age spirituality, apocalyptic prophecies, and mysticism often cite Nostradamus as a source of wisdom and insight. These interpretations contribute to the ongoing popularity of Nostradamus, ensuring that his legacy continues to evolve in contemporary culture. Despite the many misinterpretations and sensationalizations, Nostradamus' impact on popular culture cannot be denied. His name has become synonymous with prophecy itself, transcending the boundaries of history to become a fixture in the collective imagination. Whether depicted as a harbinger of doom or a wise sage, Nostradamus remains an enduring figure whose work continues to captivate and intrigue people across the globe. The continued relevance of Nostradamus in popular culture speaks to a larger human fascination with the unknown and the desire to understand the forces shaping our world. In an age of uncertainty and rapid change, his legacy as a prophet persists as people continue to turn to his quatrains for meaning, guidance, and answers to the mysteries of the future. Nostradamus, whether as a man, a myth, or a symbol, remains a central figure in our collective exploration of fate, prophecy, and the limits of human knowledge. Part 12. The Controversies Surrounding Nostradamus. Despite his widespread fame, Nostradamus has been the subject of numerous controversies throughout history. Many of these controversies stem from the nature of his prophecies, which are often vague, cryptic, and open to interpretation. The idea that Nostradamus could accurately predict the future has been both celebrated and criticized, with skeptics arguing that his writings are nothing more than a product of selective reading and coincidence. One of the main points of contention regarding Nostradamus' prophecies is their alleged accuracy. Many of his quatrains have been retroactively linked to historical events, such as the rise of Napoleon, the Great Fire of London, and the September 11th attacks. However, critics argue that these connections are tenuous at best, pointing out that the quatrains are often so vague that almost any event could be linked to them. This phenomenon, known as postdiction, suggests that Nostradamus' prophecies are not so much predictions as they are flexible statements that can be molded to fit any number of occurrences. Another controversial aspect of Nostradamus' work is the ambiguity of his language. His use of obscure metaphors, symbolism, and references to classical mythology has made his quatrains notoriously difficult to decipher. While this has contributed to the mystique surrounding him, it has also led to widespread misinterpretation and distortion of his true intent. Some scholars argue that Nostradamus did not intend to predict specific events, but rather to comment on broader human experiences and cycles of history. In this view, his work is more about reflection than foresight, and the connections drawn between his quatrains and specific events are a result of overzealous interpretation. The accuracy of Nostradamus' prophecies also leads to questions about the role of fate and free will. Many of his followers believe that his quatrains reveal an inevitable, predestined future, leaving little room for human agency. Others, however, view his predictions as warnings, offering insight into potential outcomes that could be avoided through human action and change. The debate over the implications of his prophecies highlights the tension between determinism and free will, a theme that resonates across centuries. Nostradamus' personal life has also been a subject of controversy. While he was respected as a physician and astrologer, some aspects of his life raised eyebrows in his time. His involvement with the occult and his practices in astrology, alchemy, and divination placed him at odds with more orthodox elements of society, including the Catholic Church. Although Nostradamus was careful to avoid direct confrontation with the Church, his reliance on astrology and other unorthodox methods was seen by some as heretical. His critics accused him of dabbling in dark arts, and his predictions were sometimes dismissed as the work of a charlatan. Additionally, Nostradamus' tendency to write in a cryptic, obscure style led some to question his motives. While some argue that he sought to protect himself from political and religious persecution, others contend that his style was a deliberate attempt to create an air of mystery and self-importance. The enigmatic nature of his quatrains has led to speculation about whether Nostradamus intended his work to be taken seriously or simply as a means of securing his fame and fortune. Despite these controversies, Nostradamus' impact on history and culture is undeniable. His prophecies have captivated generations, inspiring countless books, films, and documentaries. Whether viewed as a genuine prophet or a master of ambiguity, Nostradamus remains a figure whose work continues to spark debate and intrigue. The controversies surrounding him only add to his mystique, ensuring that his name and writings will continue to be analyzed and discussed for generations to come. Part 13. Nostradamus and the Modern World. Though Nostradamus lived in the 16th century, his influence remains strong in the modern world, with his predictions continuing to captivate people across the globe. In an era marked by rapid technological advancements and global crises, Nostradamus' prophecies are often revisited as a way to make sense of contemporary events. His work is frequently invoked in discussions of political upheaval, environmental disasters, and societal changes, suggesting that his vision of the future continues to resonate with modern sensibilities. The advent of the internet has played a significant role in the resurgence of interest in Nostradamus. With a wealth of websites, social media pages, and online forums dedicated to his life and prophecies, the digital age has given new life to his legacy. These platforms allow users to share their interpretations of his quatrains, often linking them to current events and trends. This has resulted in a broad and diverse range of interpretations, some of which are more speculative than others, but all contributing to the ongoing fascination with Nostradamus and his supposed foresight. One of the key reasons Nostradamus continues to captivate modern audiences is the uncertainty of our times. Global political instability, climate change, and the rapid pace of technological advancements have led many to seek answers in the past, and Nostradamus' quatrains seem to offer an intriguing possibility. His cryptic language and predictions about the rise and fall of empires, natural disasters, and the struggle between good and evil are easily adaptable to the challenges faced by the 21st century. People look to Nostradamus for reassurance, hoping that his work will provide insight into the future, even as they question the validity of his predictions. Some modern-day proponents of Nostradamus' prophecies claim that his quatrains are especially relevant in light of global crises, such as the COVID-19 pandemic, the war in Ukraine, and the growing threat of climate change. The recurring theme of apocalyptic events in Nostradamus' work makes his predictions particularly appealing to those who view contemporary challenges as part of a larger, predetermined pattern. These readers argue that Nostradamus foresaw these issues centuries ago, making his work seem eerily prescient. However, skeptics of Nostradamus' prophecies argue that his predictions are simply the result of vague language and human interpretation. They point out that many of the events people attribute to Nostradamus, such as the September 11th attacks, were only linked to his quatrains after they occurred, making it easy for hindsight to shape the narrative. This selective interpretation, critics argue, is what makes Nostradamus' work so compelling. His quatrains are so ambiguous that they can be made to fit almost any event or circumstance. Despite these criticisms, Nostradamus' influence on modern culture cannot be denied. His name has become synonymous with prophecy, and his work continues to inspire countless interpretations and discussions. Whether taken as a source of genuine insight or as a curiosity of the past, Nostradamus remains a figure whose legacy transcends the boundaries of time. In a world filled with uncertainty, his prophecies offer a tantalizing glimpse into a future that is as unpredictable today as it was in the 16th century. Nostradamus' continued relevance in the modern world speaks to the enduring human desire for meaning in the face of an unpredictable future. His work offers both hope and fear, as readers turn to his quatrains to find guidance in times of crisis. The modern fascination with Nostradamus is not just about his historical legacy, but also about the deeper questions his prophecies raise, about fate, free will, and the limits of human understanding. Part 14. Nostradamus and the Search for Meaning. The enduring fascination with Nostradamus is, in many ways, a reflection of humanity's deeper need for meaning in a world full of uncertainty. Throughout history, people have turned to his prophecies in the hope of finding answers to questions about the future, the purpose of life, and the nature of fate. The cryptic and enigmatic nature of his quatrains allows for a wide range of interpretations, making them a canvas for those searching for answers to life's most profound mysteries. One of the key reasons people continue to study and debate Nostradamus is the belief that his work holds the key to understanding the unknown. From predicting global events to offering insight into the meaning of life, his prophecies offer a sense of reassurance for those seeking control over their destiny. In times of turmoil or crisis, people often look to Nostradamus as a source of guidance, hoping that his foresight will provide clarity and comfort. In this way, his work transcends the realm of prediction and becomes a tool for seeking deeper truths about existence. The search for meaning in Nostradamus' quatrains is not limited to those who view him as a prophet of doom. However, many modern readers interpret his work as a form of spiritual wisdom, believing that his writings contain profound insights into the human condition. Nostradamus' references to cosmic forces, astrological cycles, and the eternal battle between good and evil resonate with those drawn to esoteric knowledge and New Age spirituality. For these individuals, Nostradamus is not just a prophet of future events, but a guide to understanding the larger spiritual forces that govern the universe. In a world dominated by science and technology, the appeal of Nostradamus lies in his ability to offer something beyond empirical knowledge. His work taps into the human need for mystery and wonder, offering a glimpse into a world where the future is not solely governed by logic, but also by forces beyond human comprehension. Nostradamus offers an alternative to the mechanistic worldview, suggesting that the future is shaped by a higher order, one that is both unknowable and transcendent. This view resonates with those who seek to find a deeper, more mystical understanding of life. The search for meaning in Nostradamus' prophecies is also tied to the human desire for connection and continuity. His writings evoke a sense of shared destiny, suggesting that the events of the past, present, and future are part of a larger, interconnected narrative. For many, studying Nostradamus is a way of participating in this narrative, of connecting with a tradition of prophecy that stretches back through the ages. The idea that one's life is part of a larger cosmic plan brings comfort and a sense of purpose, even in the face of adversity. While some critics dismiss Nostradamus as a mystic who made vague predictions based on superstition, others view his work as a reflection of the universal human quest for understanding. Nostradamus' prophecies, in this light, are not simply about predicting events, but about providing a framework for making sense of the world and one's place within it. The ambiguity of his quatrains, far from being a flaw, is seen as a strength, as it allows his writings to resonate with people across cultures, time periods, and belief systems. The search for meaning in Nostradamus' work is also a search for self-understanding. As readers look for clues about the future, they are also looking for answers to questions about their own lives, about destiny, fate, and the nature of free will. Nostradamus' prophecies, in this sense, become a mirror in which readers see not just the future, but also their own inner struggles and aspirations. The appeal of Nostradamus, then, is not just about what he predicted, but about the deeper questions his work raises about the human experience. In the end, the search for meaning in Nostradamus' writings is a reflection of humanity's ongoing desire to make sense of an often chaotic and unpredictable world. His quatrains, with their blend of mysticism, spirituality, and foresight, offer a framework for understanding the forces at play in our lives. Whether viewed as a source of prophecy or wisdom, Nostradamus remains a figure whose work continues to provoke thought, inspire exploration, and spark curiosity about the mysteries of life. Part 15. Nostradamus' Legacy. The legacy of Nostradamus is one that has endured for over 4 centuries, leaving a lasting imprint on history, culture, and the human imagination. His name has become synonymous with prophecy, and his work continues to inspire both reverence and skepticism. Whether seen as a visionary or a charlatan, Nostradamus' influence on the world cannot be denied, as his quatrains have been interpreted in countless ways across different cultures and eras. One of the most enduring aspects of Nostradamus' legacy is his ability to transcend time and place. His prophecies, written in the 16th century, continue to resonate in the modern world, often reinterpreted to fit contemporary events and concerns. From political upheavals to natural disasters, his quatrains are frequently cited as evidence of his supernatural foresight, with some claiming that his predictions are still unfolding today. This timeless appeal has ensured that Nostradamus remains a fixture in the collective consciousness long after his death. In addition to his influence on popular culture, Nostradamus' legacy extends to the world of scholarship and intellectual discourse. Scholars of history, philosophy, and astrology continue to study his work, seeking to understand the broader implications of his prophecies and the intellectual currents that shaped his thinking. His approach to astrology, medicine, and mysticism has influenced subsequent generations of thinkers, some of whom have built upon his methods and ideas to develop their own theories of fate, destiny, and the role of prophecy in human affairs. The enduring fascination with Nostradamus also speaks to the human desire for control over the future. In an era of rapid change and uncertainty, people often turn to Nostradamus as a way to gain insight into the unknown, seeking guidance and understanding from a man who, in their view, saw what others could not. This quest for certainty in the face of an unpredictable world has ensured that Nostradamus' work remains relevant, as readers continue to find meaning in his cryptic writings. Despite the controversies surrounding his prophecies, Nostradamus' legacy is marked by a profound impact on the way we think about the future. His work has contributed to the development of the modern fascination with prophecy and divination, and his influence can be seen in everything from astrology to apocalyptic literature. Nostradamus' name has become shorthand for the mysterious and the unknowable, as his quatrains continue to inspire curiosity, debate, and speculation. In many ways, Nostradamus' legacy is a testament to the power of storytelling and the human imagination. His ability to craft vivid and evocative images through his prophecies has ensured that his work remains captivating, even as it defies definitive interpretation. For centuries, people have sought to decode his writings, using them to make sense of the world around them and to find meaning in their own lives. This interpretive process, in turn, has become a part of Nostradamus' legacy, as each generation adds its own layer of meaning to his work. Ultimately, Nostradamus' legacy is one of mystery, ambiguity, and enduring fascination. His prophecies have inspired countless individuals to explore the unknown and to confront the mysteries of fate, destiny, and the future. In a world that often feels uncertain and chaotic, Nostradamus provides a way of navigating the unknown, offering a glimpse into a future that is both tantalizing and unsettling. His legacy lives on not just in his quatrains, but in the ongoing search for answers to the fundamental questions of life. As we continue to grapple with the uncertainties of the modern world, Nostradamus remains a figure whose work continues to inspire, provoke, and intrigue. His name is a symbol of enduring human quest for meaning in an ever-changing world, and his legacy is likely to endure for centuries to come. Thanks for tuning in to Historical Legacies. If you enjoyed this dive into history, please like, subscribe, and share. Join us next time for more fascinating stories from the past.